It's an honor for me to introduce Dr. Omar Vidal. He is working on the Vaquita, which is the most endangered marine mammal. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Omar.
Thank you. I need this one. Muchas gracias, Belinda. Era en español la plática, ¿no? It was in Spanish, no? Okay. No, thank you very much, and I would like to thank the World Conservation Network and Young Gael for this invitation. It is so thrilling to be with you here to talk about actually one of the patients of my life. And I would like to thank all of you and bear with me for the next 15 to 20 minutes because I'm going to tell you the story of this little porpoise. You may be thinking why or wondering why I just put these three flags there on the top, US, Mexico, and China. You will figure out as we move in the presentation. Humans have driven to extinction 4 marine mammals in recent times. You can see there the stellar sea cow, the Caribbean monk seal, the Japanese sea lion, and at the right, the Baijiu Chinese river dolphin. It went extinct in 2006. So as you listen to this presentation, we are on the brink of losing the fifth, the Vaquita, which is this tiny porpoise that only live in the Gulf of California. Vaquita stands for Spanish little cow. And so this is not a common little cow, but this is how the fishermen call them. And I would like to introduce this photograph to you of a painting of a good friend of mine, Peter Folkens. This is actually the first draw of a Vaquita based on photographs taken 30 years ago. Thank you, Peter, for allowing us to use it. This map represents Mexico, your neighboring country, a country full of biodiversity, fourth in the world in terms of biodiversity. And on your left upper part, you will see close to that panda, the Vaquita, very, very close to the US border, California and Arizona. And this is the only place on Earth where this animal is found. It's a Mexican unique species. My first encounter with the Vaquita was exactly this year, 30 years ago. You may be wondering, who am I in this photograph? Is, this Zapata style mustache on the left 30 years ago. But if you look to the right, then you will have another person, Dr. Bob Ronell and Dr. Lloyd Finlay. With Bob, we have spent half our life studying these animals, and I'm so happy and honored to have Bob Ronell with us. Please, Bob, stand up so people know you. After 85, the only animals we saw were animals dead, killing gill nets. And those animals that you see here, all these are calves, and that they were the first fresh specimens of the species. There, over the next few years, Bob Ronell, Lloyd Finlay, and a bunch of Mexican students, we did necropsies of vaquitas. Today, after those years, the vaquita is the most endangered of the marine mammals alive today. There are 128 species, and this is the most endangered one. So you will see some of these photographs. This is Alejandro Robles. If you see him after 30 years, he is bald completely. He has no hair. But this guy was very important for Vaquita because he was the biologist who collected the first fresh specimens, which were analyzed by scientists. This species was described in 1958 by 2 American scientists, and the only thing we saw, you see this one animal trapped in Totoaba gill nets. I will talk about Totoaba in a moment. And these were the first, as I said, specimens fresh that the scientists were able to see and study. As I already mentioned, it was described in 1958 by two American biologists. They described this species based on three skulls, bones, collected in 1953 in the upper Gulf of California. Dr. Norris and on the left, and Dr. Marfallan on my left. So the two are now deceased. And these are those skulls that I mentioned. So until we were able to study these animals, probably we find some decomposed specimens and so on. But let me show you this photograph here. What you see there are two little girls sitting, riding actually, two vaquitas. This photograph was taken in 1952 or 1953, before the species was described. And you can see on the animal on your left that you don't see the snout typical of dolphins. So this tell us that at least for the last 60 years, vaquitas have been killed in gill nets. Due to its unique coloration with those black patches around the eyes and the mouth, the vaquita has been referred by some people as the Mexican panda. And after years and years of necropsying these animals, I was so lucky to see them alive only in 2008. And I invite you to see these vaquitas. So you see, its a purpose is similar to a dolphin, but doesn't have a big snout, and the way they surface is quite different. This is in the upper Gulf of California. These are pictures taken by Chris Johnson. And what is interesting with the vaquita is this has been a struggle for decades of U.S. and Mexican scientists. So as I said, the vaquita is only found in the upper Gulf of California, Mexico, just very close to here. It is the smallest of all the whales, dolphins, and porpoises. It's only 1.5 meters, and females are larger than males. And the vaquita fate has been for long tied to the Totoaba, another endangered species. This is a big fish that lives in the upper Gulf of California. And entanglement in gill nets for Totoaba are the primary cause of vaquita going close to extinction. You can see here they are very similar in terms of size. At least the Totoaba is a juvenile, and you can imagine how big is that fish. So fishermen were cutting them for the meat, but then you will see that also for the swim bladder. So this is a Totoaba net where the vaquita is called. Actually, these are the nets that kill most vaquitas over the years. Now, for many years, the Mexican government had been dedicated efforts to save this species. This was a biosphere reserve created in the upper Gulf of California in 1993. And the Mexican government working together with national and international NGOs such as WWF, working together in designing these sustainable fishing techniques, including these traps, to support the fishermen continue making a living, but without affecting the vaquita. This work has been supported for long by Mexican and U.S. foundations, in particular Marisla and Packard. So the idea is how we give alternative fishing methods for the communities to continue fishing. And of course, with long lines, and supporting the communities also with ecotourism. As a result of these protection measures, what you're seeing here is chips that the scientists from National Marine Fisheries Service, Southwest Fisheries Center in La Jolla, in Mexico, use to estimate the numbers of vaquita. So as a result of those measures implemented by the Mexican government, we got this decrease in the population trend that until 2007, you can see, was 8.4 decrease annually in the population. By 2007 and 2011, it was these efforts were able to stop a bit this. This brought some hope for the Vaquita, but unfortunately, next year's bad news came for this species. As I said, massive illegal fishing for Totoaba research in 2012, 3 years ago, because the swim bladder, what you're seeing here is dry swim bladders from these Totoaba fish, are fish bought by illegal traders in the upper Gulf of California, very close to the US, and then they are shipped to the US border and exported to China. So this is why I put US, Mexico, and China, because they are part of the problem and they should be part of the solution. So these are this is 2015, and the previous one was 2012. So this is an environmental and socioeconomic drama that involved 3 species. Of course, a fish, a marine mammal, and us. The only thing here is we are the ones just driving these species to extinction. So as a result of this resurging in Totoaba illegal fishing, we get this bad news in 2014. As you see now, the decrease of the population almost to 19% annually. So that means that as a result of this, scientists estimate that we have lost in the last 3 years half of the Vaquita population. They were estimated 3 years ago to be about 200, and we think there are less than 100 now. Now, some good news. Last April, the Mexican president, the one you see close to the Navy Secretary and the Army Secretary, he went, this is the first time a president went to the upper Gulf to launch a comprehensive strategy to save this unique Mexican species. And he was there with 6 cabinet ministers, nothing, a thing that we have never seen in Mexico, and to launch this strategy. This strategy includes the expansion of the refuge for the Vaquita. Second, the ban on all gill nets for shrimp and other fish for 2 years, and of course compensating the fishermen for that. 3, renew enforcement, which I think is a very important part. So enforcement as we speak, these are Navy boats that are working with drones there to try to save this species. The good thing is, or news, is that this technique to fish for shrimp, which is the most valuable product in the upper Gulf, doesn't catch Vaquitas. And you will see in this animation how it works. Even turtles are able to escape. Even fish are not trapped, and small fish can escape. And you will see at the end of the net the shrimp. This is very important because this is the first time now that we have a Vaquita safe fishing technique that allow fishermen to make a living but don't kill Vaquitas. We plan to have at least 500 fishermen. The shrimp season is starting in a couple of weeks, and we hope to have at least 500 fishermen fishing this way. This has been promoted, this sustainable food for Vaquita has been promoted by chefs in both sides of the border, in particular in California, where there are committed chefs, restaurateurs, and consumers, as I said, particularly in California, offering these sustainable products and hopefully the communities with sustainable livelihoods. You can buy these products now, actually. And we hope that with your help and with the consumers, in particular in California, because most of the shrimp that is fished in the upper Gulf of California must come to California and is consumed in California. So we can really join forces with the consumers in California. I think we can work with the fishermen so that they can continue doing the fishing. This is another colleague of mine, Enrique Sanjurjo. He has been leading this design of these fishing techniques. As I said, you can buy these products. Where is Enrique Sanjurjo here? He's one of the heroes actually working with the fishermen for many years. You know, many organizations, individuals in both the US and Mexico are working on this. This is really a binational project, even though Mexicans own, if you wish, the places where the vaquita is distributed. As you see, over the last many years, 60 years, it has been a combination of US and Mexico. So there are examples of efforts to save this species, but let's be crystal clear. If we don't take action in this 2 years window of opportunity, we may lose this species forever. And the only way to protect this species is, on one hand, helping the fishermen. These are a team of fishermen that are working towards sustainable products of the vaquita. And of course, the US and China, they should actually renew the efforts, in the case of the US, to stop trafficking of Totoaba across the border, and the Chinese to stop smuggling this to their markets. I just put this gray whale because I know this is very familiar to you guys in California. And remember that saving the vaquita is possible. If you remember, the eastern population of the gray whale just came to very low numbers. Mexico and the US, working with the international community, were able to bring that species, that population, from the brink of extinction. And a more dramatic case is the northern elephant seal. Remember, by 1910, these animals were only 20. And they have actually recovered, and we have now more than 150,000 animals. So it is possible to save the vaquita, but obviously this is probably our last chance. As we speak, we have a cruise, a scientific cruise organized by the Mexican government, involving the US government, the National Marine Fisheries Service. This is the Ministry of Environment in Mexico a couple of weeks ago, seeing vaquitas actually. And the good news that I have actually last night is that our colleagues there saw 8 vaquitas. So of those, more or less 100 vaquitas, yesterday they saw 8. And I'm telling you, I'm so relieved that they were there, because we were very scared. So these are the team of Lorenzo Rojas and Armando Jaramillo, Mexican scientists, working hand on hand with American scientists, Tim Gerodet and Barbara Taylor. So let me share with you some of these nice pictures of vaquitas. In closing, I'm convinced we can save these species, but as I said, the window of opportunity is closing. These are children in the upper Gulf of California. They have known this species for long. They are the first one in trying to save them. This is their panda in this area. So let's make this story a success, as we did together, our two countries did together with the gray whale and with northern elephant seals. So I just want to leave you with some sounds of the vaquita. Actually, these are the clicks. These are real clicks, of course. I mean, we have been arranged that for you can listen. But I like this one because it is a very nice way of charming. Let me just try to play it again. So what we can do, what you can do, you can, of course, consume sustainable products. I think this is a way of rewarding the fishermen for their efforts, because we will not be able to save the vaquita if we don't work together with the fishermen. This is not just an environmental problem, it's a socioeconomic problem there. Second, of course, you can donate funds to support research in Mexico. I was discussing with John Paul yesterday, and he asked me how much, what will be the deal. I say we will be able and committed to match in WWF one-to-one all the funds we can receive from now on until next year. So he said, what is the maximum? I say, if you in California or in the US raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to help us save the vaquita, we will match it. Thank you very much, and thank you for your